even before the first program day, before the August program day. So you should do that too. And we did it over Google Meets because it's free and flexible, and it's not as casual as doing it over FaceTime. And we started by using some of the personality tests you guys will also do. And we talked about our passions and what we want to see change in our community. We settled on changes in education and more specifically helping young ESL students through the learning environment that COVID created. You know, it wasn't so ideal for first graders to be sitting on Teams. Yeah. So here's where our first issue began. We partnered with the co-founder of a local nonprofit who had a one-to-one reading program. But we had differing opinions on what our project should look like and what was achievable versus kind of too ambitious. And here's advice number 2, never ever back down or give up if you and your team believe in what you're set out to do. So that's what we did. And we gained knowledge from working with them, but we wasted valuable time. So we were at ground zero again while our peers were way on their way with their projects. So we got Ms. Nagler here to be our supervisor instead, since she is, as Ms. Sanders said, a former area superintendent and has a lot of experience in this education system. So we set a goal, and that goal was and still is to mentor and tutor young ESOL students to better their learning environment in one-to-one weekly sessions. And from there we took off. We partnered with a local elementary school, set up a platform for the kids, had enrollment and permission forms, had an approved by Ms. Nagler curriculum that we could use with the kids, and we were set. We got 8 students to work with. Ms. Nagler also gave us a very, very good piece of advice at that time, which for you guys will be advice number 3, which is to keep it simple. You only have so much time to do this project and execute it beginning to end. And as hopeful as you may be, there will be challenges along the way, even if they're minor. This kind of goes hand in hand with my advice number 4, which is to be passionate. This time will only pass by quickly if you're truly loving what you're creating. If you choose a project that you're not interested in and you're not fully invested in, it will be a waste of time more than helping the community, since you won't give it your all. What you get out of this program is as much as you put into it. So put in passion, determination, and persistence, and you'll be surprised by the results. Back to the story, and after our initial 8 students, other kids from the school were really, really interested to see what their peers were doing with us. So we connected with our school's beta club and got 8 more volunteers. And all was well until not enough kids signed up, but with team meetings and collective brainstorming, a lot of brainstorming, we worked out a solution of combination between another approach towards our marketing flyers and emails and recruiting kids who recently tested out of ESOL but could still use our mentoring help. And it worked. And we got more kids to sign up. And right now we're still running the program even after the deadline because we're loving it so much. And finally, for my last piece of advice, even though it is a cliche, teamwork really is the dream work. Get to know your teammates, rely on each other's strengths to make this the best experience possible, because it really is a unique opportunity. Thank you. If you have any questions, I'll answer it as much as time allows me to. Ms. Sanders will let me know when to stop, and I'll also put my email and LinkedIn in the chat for you guys if you want to reach out later. I'll paste it right
Thanks,
here.
Anastasia. That was a great breakdown. That was a great breakdown of their video, of their project. They did a project that didn't necessarily get, covered by the news like some of our projects did, but it still was just as valuable to the kids. So, and it was a great project. It ended up being a really great project. So with that, we're going to go to Aditi, who also goes to Chattahoochee. Right now, it's going to look like all we got is Chattahoochee, but. I think you're muted, maybe. We can't hear you.
No, I don't think she's muted. I just don't think we can hear her.
We've always been able to hear her before. Can we hear you now?
No. Do you want to log off and we move to the next set of speakers?
Yeah, why don't we do that? Ashu and Janice.
Okay.
Just log off and then Mahar will let you back in. So I'm going to let our next speaker, she goes to Johns Creek High School, but she was unable, and no, she doesn't. She goes to Northview High School, but she was unable to be here today. Her name is Janice Nam. She goes to Northview, and she will be graduating from our program and from Northview this year. So I'm going to just share her video real quick that she recorded. Sure. And
hello, everybody. My name is Janice Nam, and I am the Secretary of State Student Ambassador for SLJC. I'm also a senior at Northview High School. So I wish I was here live with you all, but alas, I'm not. Regardless, I want to give my happy congratulations to you all for making it into SLJC's class of 2023. You guys are a fantastic group of students who are going to make great changes in the future. So today I also want to talk about Government Day. So Government Day is one of SLJC's most fun program days, in my opinion. So on Government Day, you and your fellow SLJC classmates get to take a field trip to the heart of Atlanta. You guys get to ride charter buses, you visit the Fulton County Jail, you get to tour the jail. I remember last year I toured the jail. It was quite the experience. We got to try the cookies that they gave us in the jail kitchen. You also get to visit the Georgia Capitol and get to talk with some veterans and some really inspiring people who prompt change in Georgia. And now I'm going to hand it over to Ashu.
Yeah, well, thanks, Janice. Hi, guys. My name is Ashu Chukrugiri. I'm also a SOS student ambassador and a senior at Northview High School. I want to begin by congratulating you all on getting into the program. Each and every one of you deserved it, and you should all be proud of yourselves. So Janice mentioned that in Government Day, we're going to be going to you're going to be going to the Georgia State Capitol. So over there, you get to see Georgia's history in terms of like artifacts and showcases, and it's really cool because usually you only read about Georgia's history in like your textbooks at school. And you don't really get to see much of it. So it's pretty cool to see all of those exhibits in the Capitol. And then we also get to go inside the House and Senate chambers of the Georgia State Capitol, if I remember correctly. So that's also pretty cool. She also mentioned that we get to speak with veterans. We have the privilege of speaking to two of them who were actually serving in the Georgia State Legislature. And it was pretty inspiring to hear their story because, you know, they lived a life of service to their country, both on the battlefield and in the government. So it is pretty inspiring to hear that. And then after that, we also went to the Fulton County Superior Court, where we got to sit in on a court case. And, you know, it was pretty interesting because usually you see, you know, these snippets on CNN or you know, like in movies like My Cousin Vinny or something, but really sitting in on a court case and actually seeing the judge, prosecution, defense, bailiff, stenographer, everybody just working in harmony to uphold the justice system is pretty cool. So, you know, I agree with Janice that Government Day is probably the best SLJC program day of all. And so with that said, whatever you do, don't miss Government Day.
Thanks, Ashu. Now, hopefully we've got Aditi back up and running. I think you're muted.
Hello.
There she is.
Okay, sorry, I joined on my phone. I'm not sure what was happening there. But like everyone else has said before, congratulations for getting into this program. It is very competitive, and I'm sure you guys are all very bright and motivated individuals. And I'm so happy to see you all here, and I'm looking forward to see what you guys can do within the program. I'm basically going to be talking to you guys about general program days, which are at Emory Hospital, like Ms. Sanders said earlier. So basically how program days work is you either have it in the afternoon or in the morning, and you get around like 3 or 4 periods off of school. So that's great. And you are usually what is it called? You are responsible for providing your own transportation to the hospital. And this can be a problem sometimes, especially if you have working parents and you need to be picked up or like dropped off in the afternoon. So our main suggestion is to carpool there. And especially if you have friends in your school who are also in SLJC, I would strongly recommend that you guys start carpooling together, because it'll just make it easier on, I think, everyone's families. So if you have like a parent who works from home, or just like switch off on the days, that would make it a lot easier on just like everyone's families involved, and it would make it more fun too, I think. Another thing is, since you will be missing school for this, you will get excused absences for every program day we have. It's usually around 1 per month, and they do count as field trips. So you will, like I said earlier, either miss like the first couple periods and you will get breakfast provided by the hospital, or you would miss like the last couple of periods and you would get lunch provided by the hospital. So you get little boxes which have lunch, and you can, there's like a little buffet type of thing for breakfast. There's like a lot of snacks set out. The other thing I wanted to talk about is that you all have school sponsors within your school. So Chattahoochee school sponsor is Miss Weil, and basically they can help you with a lot of things just to do with either transportation. If you're having issues, maybe talk to them, see if they can set you up with another student if you don't know anyone. And you can just talk to them about anything that really applies to if you're not getting an excused absence or anything like that, which you might need help within the school. I would refer to your school sponsor for help. The last thing I'd just like to say is program days are really fun and you do learn a lot. First years, you guys take personality tests, you learn a little bit more about how you fit into the group, because not everyone can be the same type of leader. And that's something I've learned through this program, that everyone kind of has their own role and you guys all have so much potential. So really just do everything with sincerity and just do your best and try to get along with your group. And just like try to make the most of this program, because there is so much it can offer, but you really have to go out there. You can't just be like complacent now that you've gotten in. Just like try to take advantage of every opportunity you get. And with that, I guess I will end there and Miss Sanders can bring Akila up.
Now we have Akila.
Hey, hi everyone. My name is Akila Yelapragada. I am also a Secretary of State Student Ambassador. And first of all, I'd like to congratulate all of you for getting into SLJC. It's a really prestigious program and you should be very, very proud of yourselves. So you've heard the first year projects and field trips that you get to take. It's super fun. I loved my first year at SLJC. So now I'm going to talk about like the second year sort of projects and activities that you do. So during your first year, you're working as a team, you're building your team working skills, but as you move on to your second year, you're trying to sort of build your personal brand and you're learning a lot of professional skills that prepares you for the competitive career world. And one of the big things that you do is build an online presence. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so you guys know what I'm talking about. Okay, can you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, so when we first started our second year for SLJC, we attended a seminar that sort of taught us how to use LinkedIn and how to sort of create a resume, which I'm going to show you later. But this is the LinkedIn portfolio that I was able to create after attending that seminar. Mr. Greg Burkhalter, he was the moderator for that seminar and he taught us how to use it. It's sort of like building your online presence and making sure it's like up to date and all that. You get all this documentation over here and that's sort of building your LinkedIn. It's really helped me for the past couple of years. I've had this LinkedIn since I was a freshman, but it still helps me out even after attending that seminar. And I think it's really good because, I mean, you find your job, you connect with new people across the world. So that's the LinkedIn. And the second part of the project is your portfolio, which I really, really liked. And I know a lot of people, they don't really like this project for some reason. I don't really know why. it can get a bit tedious with all the requirements that you're supposed to do, but I personally liked it. I had a lot of fun making it. But basically your portfolio is, I feel like it's more of a reflection of your LinkedIn, but it sort of showcases your personality in a way. So I went ahead and added my core strengths, which is a test that you take in your first year. I'm pretty sure someone mentioned it earlier, but I added my strengths over there from the test. And there's like our about page, which had my leadership philosophy, it's pretty long, and my career objective, as well as my accomplishments. I had all these videos from Secretary of State and the debates and everything that I've done. And you also learn how to make your resume, which I mentioned earlier, which I have over here, and your contact information, and it just had some pictures from my photography gallery. So that was the portfolio. I really like making it. Oh, and you also have like a reflection section at the end, which I took off because I was putting it on my college resumes. And speaking of college, this portfolio, it's something that you really want to take seriously, because when I tell you it helped me for colleges, it really, really helped me. Like, it got me into my top schools. And I mean, I think it's what got me into my top schools because it was pretty outstanding, really, really important part of my application. And the last part, which we did pretty recently in February, was our technology shadowing. Or sorry, not technology, just your shadowing projects. So this year, the circumstances were a little different with COVID, and usually you would be matched with someone in the Johns Creek area who you would like usually go shadow. So whether you're into medicine, business, technology, or law, you would go in person and shadow them. But this year we had to do webinars. So Miss Sanders, she got guest speakers from across like the city, and we sort of shadowed them. We signed up for the webinars and we attended those like little presentations. And at the end, you have to create your sort of video that summarizes what you've learned and how you're like willing to implement the skills that you've learned into your future career and academic prospects. And yeah, that's sort of the video that I made. Yeah, overall, that was sort of what we did for the professional learning. I'm really happy with it. I really like how my portfolio and LinkedIn turned out, and I'm really happy with the results. It's gotten me like my internships and my college offers, so I'm really happy with that. And if I had to give you guys some piece of advice, I would just say, like, take this part seriously. I mean, it seems tedious, like making a LinkedIn and a portfolio and resume. It's a lot for your age, and I get that, but once you make it, you will be so happy that you did, just like I did. And yeah, that's sort of what you do. And feel free to like sort of connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm always willing to build new connections. And yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and stop sharing my screen. Okay. And yeah, Ms. Sanders, you're muted.
Unmute. Thanks, Akila. Akila goes to Chattahoochee as well. I'm not sure she mentioned that, but she will be the last
Chattahoochee, I go to Chattahoochee.
student. I don't know how we put that all, so many Chattahoochees at one time. So our next speakers are Ty and Omer. Both go to Johns Creek High School and are also members of the Secretary of State Ambassadors Program. And they're going to talk to you about the Secretary of State Ambassadors Program.
Okay, hi everybody, my name is Ty Bakta. I'm a sophomore at Johns Creek High School, and I'm in the class of 22 for SLJC, and I'm a Secretary of State Ambassador. Congratulations everyone on getting into the program. Today I'll be telling you all about the Secretary of State Ambassador Program. So the Ambassador Program provides leaders in high school an opportunity to engage within their community through various student-led projects and events. This year, as a Secretary of State Student Ambassador, we learned how to be more involved in the community. We worked on publicizing events. We were given lots of opportunities to speak in public, and we expanded our leadership skills. The Ambassador Program is a competition, so you and your team will compete against the different Secretary of State teams through Georgia, and you accumulate points through community service and initiatives. There is a little bit more of a time commitment for the Ambassador Program. We meet at least twice a month, and we host events. And when we host events, we tend to meet more to prepare for them. Each year, there are 9 new ambassadors. There are usually 4 ambassadors chosen from the upcoming class and 5 from the returning class. The applications open around May 1st and close around June 15th. I highly recommend that everyone should apply because this program really helps you be more engaged in the community and it helps you expand your leadership skills. If anybody has any questions, you are more than welcome to ask me or any of the other ambassadors.
Okay, thank you, Ty, for explaining some about a lot about the Secretary of State ambassadors. If you don't know me already, my name's Omer Majauer. I also go to Johns Creek, except for I'm a junior. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about some of the projects we've done with the Secretary of State ambassadors and also with some of the community involvement opportunities that we have, not through the ambassador program only, but also just with SLJC in general. So I'm going to share my screen. If I can do that. Okay, can everybody see? Perfect. So if you attended our Secretary of State Ambassador webinar a couple days ago, you already have some familiarity with some of the things that we've done. But basically, there are three main ways that we sort of try to have community engagement and community involvement in SLJC and the Ambassador Program. Mainly, the first way is mainly through civic engagement. So we host debates. You can see we hosted the debate for like the Georgia District 48 Senate District and the District 50 Congressional District. And that's just one of the ways to, not only get involved with our students, but also try to reach in a bigger audience for people who are definitely interested in politics, or even people who aren't, but just care a lot about, who represents them in their government. Okay, some other things is the fact that we have amazing speakers who have been able to go in front of city council and, talk about issues that have mattered to them. We're able to show our passions to the people who are in government and talk about what matters to us. So that's definitely a big part of it. We also promote voter registration. That's going to be especially a big thing with us teens, because we're almost at that age, especially the seniors. They're going to be at the age that, you're going to be registering for voting soon, and you're going to be able to participate in government more fully. So it's definitely a big issue for the ambassadors and for this program. And then I guess like the next way we sort of try to engage the community and involve them is through these community webinars. And basically we host them with a bunch of different people from all over, even the nation. And there's some, pretty famous people on here, like Representative Lucy McBath, the state representative Angelica Cauchy. We have people who are able to talk about things like climate change or, women's issues or things like STEM. And so we're able to kind of engage, our communities on a bunch of different topics through these webinars. They're definitely a really, really great way of having these opportunities. And then also our group projects. You've heard a little bit today about these group projects. Anastasia talked about hers, and she gave you some really, really great tips. But these are really, really good ways of, giving back to the community. Like, for example, one of the projects that I was really interested in is the Historian Project, which, if you can see on the left, a group project this year literally made a book that is for children of Johns Creek to educate them about the history of Johns Creek. And so these projects are a really, really great way of, just sharing what Johns Creek means, what our community means, and giving the community, because we all are leaders. We all want to help ourselves, but we also have to an obligation to serve our communities as well. And then also, lastly, I want to talk about the ambassadors specifically in this point. It's that we also help out SLJC, because SLJC becomes a community for us. You'll see that you'll develop friendships with many of the people who are in the program, not just from your school, but people from out of your school in the Johns Creek area. You'll really develop this community with people, and it's such a great opportunity. It's a really great way of, giving back to your community, developing that sense of community. And that's why I'm really happy that you all have decided to become a part of this program. And again, if I didn't say it before, congratulations for becoming a part of the Student Leadership Johns Creek program. You're definitely going to enjoy it.
Thank you, Ty and Omer. I'm going to miss these guys next year. Even though both of them are still in student leadership, they just won't be ambassadors because I make everybody roll off after 1 year. So our last speaker is from Centennial High School, Mahar, and she's been the one in the background making sure everyone is spotlighted. And where is she?
Wait. Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Mehar Namani. I'm from Centennial. Go Knights, guys. My pronouns are she, her. I'm part of the class of 22. So I'll also be here next year too, but I will kind of be the last speaker before we take questions, but just talking about a couple extra things we did this year. So obviously this year was different than other years that have happened in student leadership Johns Creek. That goes without saying. I'm sure all of you guys know by now everything is virtual because of the pandemic, school, everything. Our lives are so different. But we were still able to hold our program this year and we'll continue to hold it, even though a lot of programs across the area got shut down because of COVID. We still strive through it virtually. So some of the programs we did virtually, well, you heard Aditi and I think Ms. Sanders also talked about at the beginning, a kind of retreat at the beginning of the year where you kind of meet your group and, you know, get to know people and get your information at the beginning of the year. It's just this really nice, fun way. This year, actually, we held it virtually. It was actually super cool because every year we do a almost escape room, right? And this year it was virtual, which was something I didn't even know existed and get this, it was also in Lithuania. So that was cool on top of that. But it's just a fun way to kind of get to know everyone before we get started. I'm talking about first year. Some of the other programs that we did this year were the Leadership Challenge. So the first year we focused a lot on, as you heard, community service project, but we focused on leadership skills specifically. So this year we did like the Leadership Challenge and we talked about like all the different traits of a leader and how you can build and expand those skills and what qualities a good leader has and how they can better themselves and the community to make whatever you lead, whatever team you lead, more successful. We also did something called Leadership in the Movies, which was actually so much fun because we got to all, as a team, like with your group project, come up with a movie that shows leadership in some form and explain the different qualities that we talked about. So it was kind of like a more application basis of how what we learned in the book or what we talked about in these program days and apply it to some of the stuff we see. And it was super cool because these are like movies that we watch every day, like Disney, Pixar, all those movies were in there. So it was really fun to see. And then obviously we do group projects. The first year is centered all around community service, as you have heard by multiple speakers. But those presentations, so what will happen is that after you finish your group project, which is towards the end of the year, it's around March, where Ms. Sanders will be like, hey, we need to get like what you guys actually did this year. Obviously there'll be periodic checkups and where you guys have to like report what you guys have been working on and how far, what progress you guys have made. But at the end of the year, you will kind of compile all of that in a video, which will be kind of shared with everyone from SLJC to see what your team accomplished, what your project was, what everyone did, why it was important, you know, all that stuff. And it's really fun because all these projects, like they seem like you didn't get that much done sometimes, or like they seem like, oh my God, my idea for this project, what if it doesn't happen? It usually happens if you actually try. There's always something that you can do, and there's always someone that can help you. It's just if you're willing to reach out for that help, it's important. But that's another conversation. But yeah, so you'll be presenting those, and those will all be on our SLJC YouTube for everyone, really. So the group projects that Ms. Sanders keeps talking about, those are also on our YouTube. But yeah, you guys will be doing those. That's required. And then the last thing I'm going to talk about is City Day. Unfortunately, we couldn't do it this year, and unfortunately, the class above us, the class of 21, couldn't do it either. But it's just a really nice opportunity to see like what goes on behind the city and how it kind of functions. You know, we see all these things running so smoothly, but what is actually happening behind the scenes? For example, you get to see like the safety aspect of it with the police, and you get to meet a lot of different people and kind of engage with your city a little bit more. But that's kind of all I had on my end. And good luck, everybody. Please actually work on your project at the beginning. that would be my advice too. Like, I know everyone talks about it, but like towards the end, it just kind of like dies and then it picks back up. But I just don't, you can get more done if you don't die and then pick back up. That would be my advice.
It's always good not to die. Well, thanks, Mahar. So those were our Secretary of State ambassadors and Anastasia from Chattahoochee. And so does anybody have any questions? I mean, just unmute yourself and ask questions if you do, and one of us will jump in and answer. Or you can put it in chat. No question, no question. I don't see any questions. Just to tell those of you that weren't on the one on about the Secretary of State ambassadors, we will open the applications up. Most of the kids that are in this team applied more than once. They applied twice, and then they got in. So I mean, it's nine spots. That's all we got. That's what the team requirement is. So, but we are always, you know, we do other things too. You can any of you can go and speak at City Council, and a lot of, like, a couple of kids from Northview that aren't ambassadors went last week and spoke. So we kind of encourage as much as you want to be involved or as little as you want to be involved, but you get out of the program what you put into it is basically what my suggestion to you would be. And, you know, I mean, we all know it's a good resume builder. I got interviewed today by somebody at Northview asking me about what's the point, you know, and I said a 2-year leadership program looks really, really good on your resume. It looks very good for colleges. Ava asked if there's any rules or regulations for group projects, and yes, we have a rubric that we give you at the first of the year. We give you all of your supplies at the first of the year. Last year we had, I live in Thornhill, and I'm on the HOA board here. And so our clubhouse, which wasn't being used because of the pandemic, kind of became pandemic central for SLJC. And so we had our portfolio photographs taken there. We gave out our bags at Thornhill. So if you live in Thornhill, you can just walk right over. But hopefully we'll be able to do it in person this year in another place other than Thornhill. But yes, you will get a notebook that has all the rubrics for everything. It'll have everybody's contact information for all of the schools. It'll have all your school sponsors' contact information. So it has pretty much everything in the notebook, and you'll get all that. Plus, you'll get all my emails that I send out. So are there any other questions? When our first year ends, does the second year pick back up in August? Yes.
By the way, oh, sorry, before you answer that, this is the packet that she was talking about. But yeah.
So when your first year ends, does the second year pick back up in August? Yes. They're officially done. They finished their group projects, so they're officially done. We're going to have a normally at the end of the year in April, we have an end of the year celebration at one of the high schools. We were supposed to have it at Chattahoochee this year. We're planning on having it next year at Johns Creek High School. And it basically all of the kids lead it. Y'all will lead it. So first year kids will introduce the graduating class. And they'll also talk about their group projects. The place is always full because it's got all your parents and everyone who's, so it's awesome. But we can't do it live this year. So we're going to have another virtual graduation, which I will send out that video to everyone. One of the things that I didn't mention to you is that you do get cords that Fulton County has said we can give to our students, and then you're allowed when you graduate, you're allowed to wear those at your graduation. So we have our own cords that we give out to everyone who graduates. But yeah, the second year begins in August. The first year in your retreat, you're going to do your retreat in your group. And the second year, you're just thrown in with other second years, and you just do the retreat with other kids from other schools. So that's how we do it. Any other questions? I don't see any more. Don't be shy. If you are shy. and you want to ask questions and you just feel better about sending me an email, you can do that.
And
Randy,
let me just add one little piece. And you guys, it's been said over and over, but you can grow as a leader based on exactly what you want to put into this program and get out of it. And just like you will become more and more comfortable with asking questions, but here's what my advice would be. Pick Miss Sanders' brain. Use her and abuse her, because she has a wealth of knowledge and resources, and she is always willing to help you guys. And then if you want a secret bit of advice, I would become a Saints fan very quickly, and you will be on her good side. So that's my advice for the upcoming class.
Go Saints. Yes, I'm a huge Saints fan. My husband played football for the Atlanta Falcons and the Detroit Lions. And so he is perplexed by my allegiance to the Saints, but I love the Saints. So there you go. So yes, every year I talk about the Saints incessantly. So you'll all have to just put up with my nonsense. And are there any Saints fans out there? No? Come on, there must be one. And then, like Aditi said, she agrees with Ms. Nagler, take an opportunity to grow as a leader and get as much out of this program as you can. You do have to put in the effort, but it's very worth it. And I write tons of recommendation letters for colleges, for National Honor Society, for just all kinds of stuff, for internships, jobs. So if you ever need those, you can always ask me to write those, and I'm always available to do that. And if you look on our website, you can see former graduates and where they went off to school. And that's kind of a cool thing to look at, because it's full of kids that went through this program and are now on to other things. I would recommend looking at it, and then when you get your LinkedIn, I would go through and I'd make friends with all of those kids. So if there aren't any more questions, I'm going to give you one more opportunity to ask. Anybody else have any more?
Oh,
No?
Ms. Sanders, did we talk about the graduation requirements for the second year program?
Well, yeah, the only thing that's required is that you do your online portfolio and your shadowing, and that you have to attend the program days. That's okay. I see that you're on. That's all, and you can only miss 2 program days that are unexcused, so that is a requirement. You have to be at the program days. Unless you're sick or whatever, but otherwise they're excused. You know about them way in advance, and they don't count against, like, there's certain there's a rule in the schools that they would count against your being able to opt out of finals and stuff. These absences don't count against that, so it's all good there. They're counted as a field trip, so it's not it doesn't ding you for college, like college visits and stuff. But I would definitely get to know your group. That would be my biggest suggestion. Get to know your group, set up a group me, or however you want to talk with each other. I don't know how you guys talk with each other, and set it up, figure it out. Like I said, there might be 4 groups that will be able to do the Macedonia Cemetery, and it's basically going to be the history of the cemetery. Each video will be different, and so you would research with the Johns Creek Historical Society and Mercer University, and then it will be you guys recording the videos that will be used in educational, like here in Johns Creek. We can enter various contests with them, so it would be pretty cool. But you guys would actually be the stars of the video, and then so you guys are going to have to come up with, like, the questions, and the whole program will be yours. So it will be really cool. We're hopeful we get it. But if we don't, we can still work on the Macedonia Cemetery. I just won't have 4 groups doing it.
Also, the project I talked about, we will probably also continue it next year. So some of you guys can join into as your group project.
Yeah. And a couple of the group projects could be continued next year, like the Johns Creek Explorers that the Johns Creek high school kids did. That's with the city. That program is just getting ready to go and get up and take and start running. So they're probably going to want help with that. The city's always looking for things. So if you guys can't think of a project, I can always help you find a project. Let me see. And so does anybody else have any more questions? All my ambassadors are saying that it's really good advice to become a Saints fan. Just saying. Anyway,
they're still scared not to.
yeah. Anyway, but I've been fans of lots of teams, but I'm a Saints fan down deep. Anyway, so if you guys don't have any more questions, you guys can always group me, text me, or send an email. And then I think all the kids put their contacts in the chat, and I will send out an email with all their contacts if you want to reach out to somebody that's in your school and ask specific questions. Innovation Academy, we only have 3 kids from Innovation, but you guys don't really have anybody to talk to, but I'll probably lump you in with Centennial if I have to put groups together. Innovation will probably be with Centennial. So you guys can get to know the Centennial kids, but you'll be doing your own project. So anything else? Any questions? No? Oh, that's Brian. Well, and I'm going to send all your contact information out to you guys, so via email, so you don't have to put it in there. So if you guys don't have any more questions, I just want to thank our ambassadors. Just so that you guys all know, the competition ends on Sunday, and right now they're in first place, so our fingers are crossed, and we'll see how they do. But it ends at midnight on Sunday, so we should know by Monday or Tuesday who wins, and that'll be really fun. So so think good thoughts that they win, because that would be fun. So if you guys don't have anything else, then I think we are done here. So
thank you.
Okay, bye guys.